Welcome back to Murphy.
Welcome back to the good stuff.
Welcome back to that good. But not like, the good that would like get you in jail, like the kind of good that you could like sit down and like watch in moderation with like your friends or like possibly your family if they're that kind of family, If they're not, that's totally okay. Your dad and mom have things going on, Maybe they're not together, maybe one of them's not even alive, but it's just one of those things where you can just sit down. Maybe it's something that you bond with your sister or your sister and her mister, you never know. You just don't. I'll go back to Murphy.
What if my mister's a sister?
What if my sister became a mister?
Yeah, it's 2020. What is this little bundle of joy? Whatever it is, it almost killed me. What's happening? Oh, it did kill me.
It did kill you.
It was literally just a collectible.
No! It'll go straight to your thighs!
Yes, buns and thighs.
And then you'll blow up.
Well, let's try this again. Holy the freak back here.
Have you seen those memes where it's like my parents at 22 and then me at 22?
Yeah, I saw one today and I thought it was really funny. And it was like, and I can't relate to it because I'm already married, but it was like my parents when they were 24. Hey, do you want to get married? Yeah, let's get married. And then it goes me when I'm 24 and he goes, it's like that episode of SpongeBob.
Yep, that is exactly the one I was about to rep.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah, I saw that today, and I thought it was really funny.
I
couldn't relate to it, but I was like, there's a lot of people that I'm friends with that could probably relate to that, and I feel bad for them.
I saw one where it was a Taco Bell one, and it was like, me at 23, give me a Crunch Wrap, and then the woman's a Taco Bell employee. She says, okay.
Art imitating life. Check this out. Whee!
I remember what I was going to say in the last episode!
What were you going to say?
So, I've been spending a lot of my time. So I moved to a new place, and my cat's getting used to that new place.
Mm-hmm.
And that new place is in with my parents. It is not new to me, but it's new.
Mm-hmm.
So my cat's getting used to the place, and because of it, I'm not really playing a lot of video games right now. Just kind of like watching TV.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I cannot tell you. I have been watching a lot, and I'm just excited to see where this leads you. Because there's three options. Either you're gonna be on board, we can talk about this thing. Either you're gonna bash me and we can have a funny conversation, or you're just not gonna care, and then I'm gonna be disappointed. And those are the three outcomes. I've been watching a lot of Survivor. Come on.
I was elected to lead, not to read.
Come on, David.
Number 3. So I guess my favorite Survivor thing is a Cartoon Network parody
Total
of Survivor.
Drama Island.
Total Drama Island was amazing when I watched that as a kid.
I wanna be
famous. Because, like, okay, my dad growing up, like, had cable for about half my childhood, but then didn't for the other half.
Right.
My mom, to my memory, pretty confident had it the whole time. The difference being because my parents are divorced, for those who don't know me, but my dad and my stepmom were very, like, adamant on, if we're not going to watch what's on TV, we're not going to watch TV. My mom was one of those, like, background TV watchers, where even if she's in the kitchen making dinner, she just wants some background noise going on. She'll turn on the TV, and even if it's garbage, we'll sit there and watch it.
Yep.
And one of those shows was Survivor. Not great television. What in the world?
Survivor is fantastic.
Survivor,
television.
to me, was terrible. And so when Total Drama Island parodied that crap, even though it was a kid's show, it was freaking awesome.
Listen, there are a few better shows. Okay, so here's my genuine thing. When Survivor is at its best, to me,
it's when the rolling credits. I'll let you talk now. I've pooped on it enough. It's time for you to get your 2 cents.
In my personal opinion, it is the best of reality television because, you know, like most reality television, even like the competition shows, like, you know, Big Brother is essentially just Survivor, but without the cool things about Survivor.
Yeah, and I guess I can appreciate that. I'm not opposed to reality TV.
Right. To me, Survivor is it is the ultimate human experience of like how people act and like because like you know the whole premise of Survivor is you're out in the wilderness for 39 days, and at the end the people that you're around and the peers that you're with ultimately vote who's the sole survivor, and it's like you know how people act and like the way that they're willing to how quick they are to lie, the different ways they play the game, things like that. Like it is insane. And I watched this specific because every season has a different theme too. So I watched one called Heroes versus Villains, which is season 20. It's on Netflix. Watch it if you have not, because it is a all-star season where it is literally the best players of Survivor coming together to play against each other in Survivor. And it is fantastic television. Just cannot recommend it enough. Just so good. I love it.
Noted. I will show appreciation for that. Of like reality TV that feels like it has a point.
Right.
I will just say that I don't enjoy it, but I can have. It's kind of like Kanye West. Don't really. I don't listen to Kanye West, but I can understand why people enjoy it.
Right. Right. And I get it, you know, because like for some people, just game shows are just not for them. You know what I mean? For me, like I loved Total Drama Island, and like you know, there's definitely points where like Survivor for me is just like, you know, because at a certain point, Survivor's Survivor. You know, if the cast stinks, if the competitions stink, it stinks. But like, man, when it's at its peak, to me, Survivor's like the best game show, competition, reality show out there. It is, oh man. If you just took the lunatics of The Bachelor and didn't let them shower and made them just all like compete against each other, it's just brilliant.
And you watch The Bachelor too.
I dabble in The Bachelor. Mostly I watch YouTube clips of the best of The Bachelor and have made comments of how I need to be invited to girls' night to watch The Bachelor.
Yep.
It's like David's like,
Man card has been taken away.
you know, I think there's something manly about that, because there's a man that's willing to embrace his feminine side. All right, so back to Murphy.
Yeah, so Doom is pretty cool.
The Bachelor of video games.
Well, I guess like I'll consider Survivor to be your recent guilty pleasure.
Uh-huh.
Oh, shoot. Oh, I thought I was dying.
Definitely. But also I have no shame.
One that I've had over the last few months, and my wife can attest to it, is I've been watching a game show off of YouTube, because it's on either BBC or Channel 4 in England, and so obviously we don't have that here.
Uh-huh.
Not to mention the fact that I don't have cable.
Uh-huh.
But it's got, do you know who Jimmy Carr is?
Sounds familiar.
He's a British comedian who's like super good at bashing on people's moms. That's kind of his whole thing. We're
That's
like
a shtick.
He's really good at you know what hecklers are. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
Us being
Heckler.
wanting to
I
be
barely know her.
comedians. A heckler is somebody in an audience who tries to interrupt something that's happening live, whether that be a music show, a stand-up comedy show, you name it.
Or a honeymoon.
Or a honeymoon. Well, Jimmy Carr is really good with hecklers. He's well known for being like one of the best comedians to deal with hecklers. But he always brings it back to like bashing on the heckler's mom.
Yeah.
Where I think it was like the comedian was talking, and then this guy named Chet in the audience was like interrupting him, and he's like, "Sorry, what's your name?" And he's like, "Oh, my name's Chet." And he's like, there's only one thing, or here's the thing with popular culture, okay? Why is it that when a guy sleeps with a lot of women, he's known as a player, a stud, a well-grown, like, grouped man? But when a woman sleeps with a lot of women, they're just known as Chet's mum. And so he's really good at, like, having those off-the-cuff things.
Right.
But back to my original point. He does a host of this game show. He's a host of this game show called 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown. And it's basically Scrabble with comedians on it. Because the contestants are all comedians.
That sounds fun.
But my very much my opinion of British humor is like American humor is a lot more of oh, this happened and you could see it. Here's how we can make jokes about it. It's more physical.
Right.
Whereas British humor is very much on what's being said in wordplay. And in my mind, that's harder to do, coming from two guys that are playing video games and telling jokes. But like,
hey, I bring the wordplay.
yeah, you bring the play words.
I try.
But it's something I've been into recently, and I think it's hilarious. My wife thinks it's eh.
My all-time favorite response of a comedian to a heckler was specifically Bill Burr to an entire group of hecklers. Have you ever seen this?
I think so.
Him in Philadelphia.
Oh, yep.
Uh-huh. So if you haven't seen it,
it
is one of the funniest clips on the internet where Bill Burr was in Philly. He was at a comedy show, or like even it might even been a festival. It was something, and he was getting interrupted by this and heckled and being treated like crap by this entire audience for the entire night. And by the end of his set, Bill Burr is just done. And so he literally openly says to the crowd, I am throwing out the last 10 minutes of my set just to talk about how much I hate Philly. And it is the last 10 minutes of him saying, like, I hope all of your moms die of cancer. I hope your sports teams never win. F you. I hope you all just, like, get in a car crash. And, like, he just heckles and, like, makes fun of this crowd so much that by the end of those 10 minutes, the crowd is on their feet, giving him a standing ovation because he's talking about and giving them a hard time. And only Bill Burr could do that. Bill Burr is a king. He's immortal among immortals. A ginger among bread.
I'm gonna ignore that last one. Bill Burr is pretty good though. I'll give you that. Haven't watched his Netflix show. Sorry if you're watching, Bill Burr. Haven't watched your show.
Don't worry. Bill Burr is not watching. That's one I'm confident on. Take that to the bank.
I kind of want him to. I feel like that would be a good stand-up routine. I'm like, you know what these two guys are doing? They were just sitting there. They're just sitting there on their couch.
You know who thought they could just go on YouTube and just play video games and just think they're gonna make money? Like, who do they think they are? I mean, like, it's like they think they could just get in front of people and talk. And that's your living. Right there. That was a pretty good impression.
Yeah, that wasn't half bad.
Would you like to hear Bill Burr do Borat?
I'd like to hear a million other things in my life first.
I'm Borat! I'm from Kazakhstan. It's nice. My wife.
Don't hurt yourself.
I feel like there's just going to be a compilation of would you like to see this celebrity do a Borat impression? That's my new running joke from tonight. And I'm loving it.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
I'm dead inside.
But we knew that. All right.
What's the news here?
Did you miss this thing?
Karen! Oh, Karen.
Oh, I thought you were doing Davy Crockett. Karen! Oh, shoot.
Karen Crockett.
Karen Crockett. queen of yelling in my ear.
Marriage.
Never mind. September 28th.
2020.
Dude, I'm gonna beat this level at some point. This is a pretty long mission if I remember correctly though.
Yeah.
It's a lot of going back and forth, but I did do a giant circle and completely ignored it so that you guys didn't notice, but
I mean, I definitely noticed, but like to me, Doom is just a series where we're just shooting things.
we're just shooting and scooting.
Shooting and scooting.
And then between episodes we're pooping.
And our mouths be pooping.
Yeah, well, we both came to pooping.
We're churning out comedic gold.
Pushing it out. Since the days we were born.
Just like our mothers.
Thanks, Mom.
It being us. Out of... We don't need to talk about it.
Alright, we're back to this thing.
Human anatomy.
Thanks, Karen.
Thanks, Karen.
Yeah, because one of these... I think it was one of those guys. One of those guys messed us up last time.
Ooh. I'm sorry. Is your wife's ringtone for a text the sound when you find a new spot in The Legend of Zelda? Frickin' the one that came out for the Switch.
You're embarrassing yourself, and you're offending my wife by not knowing. It
Breath of the Mild. No, I'm kidding. Breath of the Wild.
It's not exclusive to that game.
When you were making that thing at first, I was like, Ocarina of Time? That came out on the N64. And then my next thing was, wait, Wind Waker? That came out on the GameCube.
Yeah, well, she's older than we are, so, you know, she played that when that came out.
True, she played that on the Mayflower back when she came over from Christopher Columbus's genocide crew. Anyway.
Completely different parts of history. Anyways.
Moving on.
Did you say Christopher Columbus came over on the Mayflower? That's two different things in history, right? Yeah, okay. I wanted to make sure I'm not dumb before I try to call Sean dumb.
Wait.
Christopher Columbus and the Mayflower is not the same one. Because the Mayflower was the Pilgrims. Christopher Columbus is not a pilgrim.
Oh, yeah, he's Spanish.
Yep.
He be Spanish AF.
Or as the Spanish would say.
I almost said John Adams.
Or as the Spanish would say.
President of the United States.
You said AF, or as the Spanish would say, AF. That's what the letters are in Spanish.
They would also say 28th of September, 2020. Who?
To answer your question, I don't know what we're doing. But we're helping Ultron do something. He's not actually named Ultron. He just sounds like Ultron from Avengers Age of Ultron.
Which, speaking of, I just need to take this moment. And you might be thinking that this would be a moment to shout out James Spader, who plays Ultron. But it's actually the exact opposite. Because if I could say the F-bomb on this channel, I would say screw James Spader.
What would James Spader do?
Well, for one, he was the worst part of The Office. Undebatable. In my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the joke the entire time was, I like sex, and I'm going to say it in this voice. Would you like to hear me do Borat?
The answer is no. We're just going to go to the Argent Energy Tower. Let it out. Let it out.
Okay, comedic gold. But also, he made objectively the worst Avengers movie.
I mean, he didn't make it.
I mean,
he was just in it. And he wasn't even in it. He was just saying voices.
Yeah.
Saying words. Did you ever watch The Blacklist?
I watched a little bit, or I've seen here and there. I heard that show was okay. I mean, that's more up his alley. You know what I mean?
Where
Like,
he's not a huge villain or a butthole in an office comedy, but
right.
more like a smart, witty con man kind of thing. I've only
Right.
seen a couple episodes, but my younger brother Tony watched that show and he's like, "Yeah, that's really good. You should watch it." And
Right.
I've always told myself I should sit down and do that, but
You know, he just seems like he's meant to be like the jaded cop that stars in our grandparents' favorite show on NBC on Wednesday nights. That just seems like that's right up his alley. But the last thing I need is for him to cross over and try and replace Steve Carell. Because, man.
He didn't succeed?
No. No, no, no.
I'm going to go ahead and say no, dear bud.
That's a no from me, dog, to quote Paula Abdul.
I think you would be happy to hear this, Sean. So for Black Friday deals, one of the deals for streaming was that you could get Hulu for $1.99 for a whole year.
Oh, yeah.
And we didn't have Hulu. We just didn't use it. But she's like, "Oh, we should pick up on that. Do you think there's anything on Hulu that you might watch?" And I remember there was a short stretch when we were in college that we had Hulu, and I was like, "Yeah, I watched Community and Futurama and stuff like that on Hulu." And I was just like, I bet you I could find something on there. And she's like, "Cool, I might watch The Bachelorette on there." And so we got Hulu. What I forgot was on Hulu, and now I'm super glad we got it, is we both started watching Letterkenny.
Yes!
Which I did not... I was told by a friend at a summer job a couple years ago, "Hey, you should watch Letterkenny. You would love this show." And I'm
It's
like, "Yeah."
right up your alley.
I was
dude.
like, "Yeah, okay, cool. Like, I'll check it out." And then never did. Until I lived with you. And you introduced me to... officially you introduced me to Letterkenny. And it's literally the funniest show ever, even if it makes my wife super uncomfortable half the time.
Somewhere down there a little bit scrolling on.
We've watched, because we only got it this weekend, and we haven't just been watching that all weekend, but we watched 4 or 5 episodes and
Right.
committed ourselves to doing that, and man, the whole fart book episode came up again.
Oh, Fart Book is so good. The thing that's crazy is that the show only gets better. Like, as it goes on, it only gets better.
Because we haven't even gotten really to what's his name, the hockey player.
Oh, yeah.
The
Shorzy?
Yeah. Like,
Yep.
we've gotten small glimpses of him, and I'm like, "Oh, honey, that's the character," and then it doesn't pop up enough yet. I'm like, dang it, we're not at his peak yet.
Oh, believe me, it only gets better, dude. And I just found this out today, actually. The new season comes out on Christmas.
Oh, man, Christmas present for me. I need to watch the other, 6 or 7 seasons before we get to that point?
I need to see Letterkenny in a COVID world, dude. That's just meant to be. But that's actually hilarious, because I literally signed up for Hulu last night after I was mooching off of a friend of mine's, and now I'm watching Survivor on it. So.
We finally got
it
a
all!
super good upgrade, finally.
Look at that.
Now
And
we
you know
have
what?
The double jump.
We get to use that upgrade in the next episode of Murphy.
Okay, well, I'll do it once. Ready?
Let's do it.
I did it twice.
Look at that double jump. Give him one more. You get to see more of that next episode. That's pretty enticing.
My neighbors are probably confused.